Hello, welcome to Lemon Series, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for the season premiere, or the second season premiere, of Daredevil Born Again. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Shari, do you like? Comment below, let me know your thoughts on Daredevil Born Again. Of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I'll greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, Shari. So, I was one of the people who actually enjoyed Daredevil Season 1 all the way through. I know some people had their issues with it, but I do think all of us collectively agree the strongest part of that season was the White Tiger arc. I think that was about 3 episodes of the whole entire season, but yeah, you could tell their heart was in one place, and then it kind of switched to another, and then it went back kind of to that original format that they agreed on. And here in this episode, what I will say is that the focus seems there, as opposed to for season 1, we were just like, okay, if we can at least get Matt and the Kingpin right, everything else will fall into place later on. And overall, yeah, that is kind of how it seemed out to be. But with here in this episode, I will say overall it was a true setting of the table. And I am glad that this was the only one that released this week, because now I know we get a double header next week, but it doesn't feel like this one's going to get lost in the shuffle. This one's really able to stand on its own. You're really able to digest it. You're really going to be able to understand where every character is at, because now we are starting to follow more than just the Kingpin and Matt Murdock himself slash Daredevil. We actually expanded the cast out a little bit more. I will say, out of all of the characters, the one that intrigues me the most right now is Heather, oddly enough. Now, I was also one of the people who liked Heather in season 1. I know a lot of people weren't. So I was already looking forward to see what her arc would be in this season. And in this season, it looks like, I might be jumping the gun, but I could see her taking a very dark path, in that she snaps and she kind of becomes Muse. Because another criticism that we all collectively agreed on was that Muse was misused in season 1. It was kind of a waste of a character in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of rich history that we can do with that character, and I was kind of sad to see him go so quickly, especially with the lack of development there was for him. I don't know if this is just me wishful thinking, and I'm preventing it on to Heather herself, but I don't know, there's something about a therapist who needs therapy herself to resort through her PTSD, who's in a corrupt legal system, who knows that she is only there to give the psychosis of what the Kingpin wants on these vigilantes. She already has a prejudice against vigilantes that we learned in season 1, and what happened with Muse amplifies that even more, to the point where she wants them all gone. And her, sitting there with the swordsman and saying, oh no, he's already all these things, like preconceived notions to it, and then getting the call later on, and like when she knows what she's about to do is wrong, she sees Muse, and it's just a quick reminder of her going, no, these people need to go, and that she has no moral code when it comes to misdiagnosing these said people, because all of them are Muse to her, and within that she could probably become Muse herself, and she becomes the very thing that she hates. Again, after one episode, and she had 2 or 3 scenes overall in this pretty beefy episode, to be completely honest, I read all that, and I think that's the direction that we're going. Now, if we don't, obviously I'll be able to take it for what it is. I'm not going to be like, if we don't do this, the show's awful by any means, like some people do. But I just see where we can go down that road, and I do hope we go down it, because that is very intriguing for me. Everything we did with Miss Page and Matt was really good too. I'm glad that they're back together. That was really nice to see. Their chemistry bounces off of each other very well. I like the conversation that that Karen was having with BB as well. Later on, a good little tie-in from the very first season of Daredevil that was on Netflix. That was a pretty good scene. That was a scene that I was kind of hoping that we would get. Didn't know if we would necessarily get there. We got it here in episode 1. The conversation between Matt and what's his name? Is it Kirby? The detective that he has helping with them. I like that quick little back and forth of, well, no, I can't risk her, his partner. I cannot remember her name. Duffy. I cannot risk Duffy getting hurt in this. Oh, but you can cost me? Well, you're old. And that was such good foreshadowing what was going to happen later on within the at the end with Bullseye saving Daredevil. But it does rise a couple of questions. So my only very few criticisms that I have of the show. I have some more praises to give, such as Matthew Lillard, who shows up in this, who plays sadistic very, very well. We know that very, very much so from Scream. But one, the opening credits, I would have liked if they would have changed it up a little again, because season 1, and I get it, the show is still called Born Again. But, the opening credits were very fitting in season 1 because, we were breaking everything that made Matt Daredevil, so he's shattered, and that's like a metaphor for the whole entire season, because both him and Kingpin had to be born again, right, in season 1. Now they are born again, so I would have liked, instead of just breaking and then restructuring them, get it, the show is still called Born Again. I just would like something a little bit different, because again, they no longer need to be born again. They have been born again. They are now fully back into it. Again, there is a full focus when it comes to the show. The other one, and please, excuse my ignorance, if so. And if I am being ignorant, please enlighten me. But, we have these text messages between the detective and Matt. Hey, if you send this, because it's looking like spam, say yes or no for this. Matt's blind. So how did he know he said no? And how did he say yes? Again, educate me if I am completely missing something here. But overall, I don't necessarily mind it. It's just something that came to mind. And also, again, at the end with Bullseye saying, "You're welcome." Matt can't read that. So you just did that for vibes, Bullseye? It was cool regardless. Again, I overall don't really care. But again, those things just came to my mind, so therefore I have to bring them out. Besides that, there's really not much more criticism I can give to this show. Again, I thought the pacing was really good. It was very methodical. Again, very setting the table type. I guess some of the action I would like to be a little bit more visceral. I know we had a bone stick out, but overall it felt pretty, not tame by any means, because it was still pretty, gruesome by any means. But I don't know. I think I was expecting a little bit more from the action. But besides that, again, everything was great. I mean, Matthew Lillard, right? The conversation at the table with Kingpin and Vanessa. Playing the whole, well, do we have to be coy with the missus? And then when Kingpin's like, no, please show respect to my wife and me. Then he got that very much more serious tone, but he's still showing that authority that he has, because he comes in just taking it all over. And I think he is partnered up with Valentina, who, as we know, is from the Thunderbolts. So that'll be interesting to see how that comes into play. But the line delivery of, oh, so you have no problem killing the man after the cargo has been left off, right? Well, I don't want to kill my men. Okay, well, that's no problem. And, it just reminded me of this movie that I saw recently that I can't recall the title of. But it was basically a movie that took place in like World War II, when Hitler was like at his peak and he was winning. And they were talking about, and again, it was just the way how the dialogue was. It was very casual on how they were going to run the Holocaust camps, right? And how they were going to get rid of, the Jewish people in there. And, the way they were talking in that movie about it, it was like just like a normal business procedure. And Matthew's performance in this, how they were talking about like, oh yeah, I could do this, I could do that. Like, it was just very much, it was nothing. And they're talking about willingly like, okay, yeah, we got to kill people. And the fact that even Kingpin, that Vincent D'Onofrio sold very, very well in this. We give Matt a lot of praise, which we should. I don't recall what his character's name is. It's Mr. some kind of first name that I cannot recall right now. But just the way that he's talking, oh, so you have no problem killing your men? Yeah, we have to get rid of them so that there's nothing that traces back. And the hesitation from Kingpin of going, well, good men are hard to come by. I mean, I like my men. Okay, well, we can do this. And the way that he's like trying to process it, he's going, well, of course, it goes back to his code of, well, nothing's going to get traced back to me, right? No, everything will be fine. Okay, then the hesitation of, then our viewpoints are aligned, where, he's like kind of second guessing himself on it. Again, that scene was really good. probably my favorite scene in the whole entire show. Again, Vanessa may be the one that intrigues me the most, but intrigues me for later on. When it comes to just a scene as a whole, yes, there's, Karen and Matt kissing. Like, that's always going to bring me joy, right? But just as a very engaging scene, I think that dinner table scene where with Kingpin, Vanessa, and Matthew Lillard's character was the one that intrigued me the most. I am also interested in BB as well. Duffy as well, too. Really, the supporting ladies kind of intrigued me the most. BB going through this whole, she may like the guy, she may not. I think, he's probably on the chopping block. I heard he's not going to be in season 3. So I don't know if he's necessarily going to make it. And BB's going to have to face that because I don't think she's going to go. I do get nervous for Karen because they are just hammering over their head how happy she is finally with Matt and that she may go. And for us comic readers, we know that she does tend to die a lot and multiple incarnations of Daredevil, so that gets me a little nervous. I think she's on the chopping block as well. I think those are my main two when it comes to bad guy and good guy, is the guy that BB may or may not have a crush on, that she doesn't feel that way towards to, or that she doesn't know that she feels that way towards to yet. I think they hinted at that on her scene with Karen, and then of course Karen on the good guy side. But Duffy as well, battling with that old boss. That scene was also really good too. I do hope we see Matt getting involved within the vigilante trials as well, because we do know Daredevil's at his best when they can mix that courtroom drama with the superhero stuff. Again, season 1, the White Tiger arc was the best arc within that whole entire season. I forget if it's season 2 or 3 where there was an actual trial and it was the best scene. It was the best season of the whole entire Netflix show, to me personally anyway. So, and I want to see Matt in the courtroom again. It's just always nice to see him in there. And I feel like there's a lot of good stuff, especially that the system is obviously corrupted and that Matt does have to fight it. Again, that stuff just intrigued me. But yeah, again, overall, I really enjoyed the opening, the season premiere of this show. I cannot wait to go on this ride with y'all. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on the season premiere. Leave a like if you made it this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you all. So squeeze every opportunity that you can. And until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.